So one day I asked myself, what if I could turn my mistakes and challenges into stepping stones for others? That's how this podcast was born. I'm Christina Radics, a former dentist and clinic owner, turned coach, speaker, and DJ. I'm here to help dental professionals thrive and not just survive. On this show, we will go from stress to success through real stories, mindset tools, and my 3+5 formula for work-life harmony. This episode is proudly sponsored by Smiler. Smiler connects patients with the best dental clinics for their unique needs. And through Smiler Pro, dentists can find the right patients for them. It's a new era of trust-based, transparent dental care for both sides. Thank you, Smiler, for supporting our mission to help dental professionals live and work with purpose. Learn more at smiler.com. Please subscribe, comment, and share if you believe that the dental world needs more fulfilled, grounded, and inspired people. So let's dive in.
Love it. So what do you do? Do you do you have an alarm clock that says now gym, now reading? Or how did you do in the beginning? Like what advice, because now it's already a routine for you, but what advice can you give to the listeners, how to start these routines?
For sure. I'll be honest. It's a little bit easier for me because my wife gets up at 5 every morning. She goes to bed at 8 o'clock every night. She gets up at 5 every morning. She gets 8 or 9 hours of sleep every single night. Like, I'm super happy. If I get 6, I'm like fired up. Yeah. Honestly, it's hard. I've never considered myself a morning person, although I used to have track practice at like 5:15 in the morning. I never consider myself a morning person. So it just has to become habitual. And I think that any habit, I've heard anywhere from 20 days to 45 days, but for me, it's just a matter of doing it for a couple of weeks in a row, and it just becomes easier. There's nothing easy about it at the beginning, but one thing you can't do is hit the snooze button. When your alarm goes off, you just got to get up and get moving. And I think
even if you're tired.
That's right. Even if you're tired. And for me, I look at it as a punishment to myself. If I stayed up until 2 a.m. and I'm going to feel like crap, well, that's on me. Tonight I better go to bed earlier. I better sleep better so that tomorrow morning it's easier to get up and get it done. But you can also set yourself up for success the night before, in terms of your routine, getting ready for bed and how you do that, good sleep hygiene. And I'm saying all this, I don't necessarily practice great sleep hygiene. I'm not a great sleeper.
Tell us about that.
I don't know. I think that my brain never shuts off. And so as soon as my head hits the pillow, my brain goes into overdrive and I'm thinking about all these things. And sometimes it's hard to get to sleep. If I sleep for 4 hours, typically I wake up with an idea and then I have a hard time getting back to sleep. Yeah. You too? You have the same thing?
Yeah. What helps me to sleep, I sleep very fast because I go into YouTube.
Yeah.
And I choose like meditation, long meditations, like 8 hours, night meditations. Wow. For example, it could be like, so try this. It could be different. So I choose depending of what I want and what I need. So sometimes it's meditation to connect with your higher self, like connect with your inner. It could be different things. I listen to it. And then I sleep. But they say that even if you're sleeping and you listen to this, you unconsciously do, things are happening. And then I wake up. Most of the times I wake up when I should wake up. It happens sometimes that I wake up 3 o'clock with the most amazing idea. I have to write it down. So I take my phone. It's not the best, but I take my phone. I send them email or I put it in the notes and I go back to sleep. But then I have to listen a little bit to the meditation, but just for 2 minutes and then I go to sleep. And in the morning, I have more ideas. So I really believe, try it. I really believe that the meditation also sparks even more good ideas. And it helps me to go to sleep.
I think that's a really good point. And I do think that, I made a commitment 9 days ago that I was going to get more sleep. And 7 out of those.
What happened 9 days? What was the insight there?
I woke up on Wednesday morning last week, and I was feeling a little groggy. And I felt like I had a call the night before, and I realized like I wasn't my best self. Like I didn't articulate my vision and what I was trying to accomplish as effectively as I would have if I'd been better rested. And Christina, the reality for me was it hit me like a ton of bricks that I, for months, had been working 90 hours and more a week. The previous week was 104 hours because I just keep track of those things. It's how my brain works. But I was averaging 4 hours of sleep for that entire period of time as well. And I'm exercising every day, and just there was never a break, never a rest. And I know, it's one thing to know the answers, but it's another thing to like actually take action. And what I realized was that I'm not going to be my best self if I don't get my rest. And so, 9 days ago, I started that. And I think 7 out of 9 nights, I've gotten a minimum of 6 hours of sleep. Now, to this point, I have been taking a sleep aid just because I want to get to a baseline where I'm kind of like, okay, I'm caught up. And then some of those other things, meditating before bedtime, I'm starting to do that. I got an Aura ring, which, tracks your sleep, tracks all your other health metrics. And I want to see how this added sleep, improves all those other metrics. I leaned over to grab this book. I got this Do This Before Bed book, which I haven't started yet, but it has all these 5-minute practices that will change your life.
Wow.
So, there's so many resources out there, Christina, and there's so many people who are dealing with some of the same things that you do and we do, that it's just a matter of, I think, committing yourself to it. And if you want to get up at 5 a.m, set everything up the night before. So if you want to hit the gym immediately, make sure your workout clothes are there and ready to go. Yeah. So you don't even have to think about it. It's like you basically step into your shoes and hit the road, whatever it is that you do. And then everything else, if you read the book Atomic Habits by James Cleary, it talks about like habit stacking, making things as frictionless as possible, right? Yeah. So that like when you have that routine, it becomes something that you don't even have to think about because you stumble into one thing and then the next thing. And then
it's like eating your breakfast and later brush your teeth. You're not even thinking about it. Yeah, exactly. For example. So if you do, so that's what you have done, like when in the morning with your routines. What is the first thing? What is the first thing you're doing? Do you have a cup of coffee first?
So I'll tell you what, if I'm by myself, I'm not a big coffee drinker. I feel like I'm naturally caffeinated to some degree. Ooh. But a typical morning when I'm at home,
I need it.
I know. I do enjoy it. I'm not going to lie. But if I'm at home, honestly, I don't even think about it. But when I'm at home, a typical morning, I get up with my wife at 5 and I sit and have coffee with her. We talk about our day. And I have 1 or 2 cups of coffee. At 5:28, I'm very particular, very precise. 5:28, my alarm goes off. I come in here, I sit at this desk right behind me, and I read at least for 30 to 45 minutes for personal growth. And right after that, I go right over to my Ames chair in the other corner, turn off all the lights, and I meditate for 10 to 15 minutes. After that, I journal for 10 to 15 minutes. And
what do you journal? What do you write in?
I never journaled before, to be honest. The day after my 55th birthday was the day I changed that. I started journaling. And every day is a little different. Sometimes I journal about the things that I just read and then meditated on. It's incredible how often those two things dovetail. And I'm doing guided meditation most days, where I'm listening to the Calm app, and Jay Shetty or Tamara Levitt are sort of walking me through different things. But sometimes I'm journaling about that. Most days I'm journaling about yesterday and what was going on, what's going on today. Because I like to sort of lay it all out there. And sometimes if there's something negative, I kind of get it out into my journal so that it's not in here as much.
Good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I love that.
After that, I usually put in my AirPods, and sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes I listen to an audible book. Sometimes I listen to some positive self-talk, and I go down and I hit the gym for, anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. And it's turned into a really nice routine.
And that's important what you said, 30 to 60, because sometimes we think, oh, I don't have a whole hour. Today I won't do anything. Yeah. But if you just think like, okay, if I just do for 5 minutes, those 5 minutes will probably become 10, 15. And it's okay if it's only 30 minutes or 50 minutes. It's better than nothing.
This morning, I had my timing off on everything. And so I only had 20 minutes. But I went pretty hard for 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I got more out of that 20 minutes than I might have gotten out of going, half-assed for 40 minutes, Mm-hmm. So, I think you got to just work with the time that you have and do what you can. And for me, this whole streak that I'm talking about, 294 days in a row, I learned, I think through Atomic Habits, that the day that you really don't want to do it, the day that is the hardest, you're not feeling well, you don't have time, or you've been traveling, those are the most important days, even if it's only 15 or 20 minutes, because that bridges the gap to the next day. Maybe you didn't get like a big physical benefit from it, but the mental and emotional benefit that you get is even more powerful than, the previous 10 days in a row, or whatever. Does that make sense?
Interesting. Yeah, it makes. I think that's when your path in your brain, it becomes stronger.
Yes.
Somehow.
Well,
because it was difficult from the beginning. It was not a lightweight. It was difficult from the beginning, but you made it. Right. So next day it will become even easier. That's what I think.
You got it. And I think a lot of that comes down to neuroplasticity too, which is a great concept that I didn't know much about. For years, into my 50s, I'm thinking, we're just kind of the way we are. Then I start reading about neuroplasticity, like, wow, okay, so our brains are hard drives, and they get programmed, when we're kids and 20-somethings, and a lot of the programming is crap. We get a lot of negative programming, and it gets embedded, and we think, okay, well, it's the way it is. But when you realize that through intentionality, we can rewire our brains, that is an exciting concept. And that's something that I've been pretty intent on doing for at least the last 7 or 8 months.
Yeah. For me, it was since my last burnout. Yeah, that almost became a depression. 2022. Yeah. Then it was like when I really studied neuroplasticity and realized, and I have changed a lot during these 2 years. It's incredible. From feeling very much guilt, from being a people pleaser. I'm not that person anymore. And people who know me and are close to me, they are like, wow, you have changed a lot. And the wonderful thing, the quote I put yesterday on my story, it has a ripple effect. When you heal, when you change and become a better true self, you change the other people around you as well. So when I started to set boundaries, my husband started to set boundaries, Sometimes I don't like it, but he's like, you taught me, Christina. I'm like, I know. And even with my mother, with my father, so it has this, and with the children. So the more we work on ourselves, the better world we create.
That's true. 100%. And so two things. One, I'm just going to comment that it is the whole concept of you got to put on your own oxygen mask first. Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to help anybody else. And it goes for everything that we do in our lives. The more that we have, the more we have to give. And if we don't take care of ourselves, then no, we don't have much to give to other people. But the other point that I want to circle back to that you made earlier is just about that loss of identity. I do think that it's not just dentists who lose their identity maybe when they stop practicing or sell their business or whatever. I think that any of us as humans who attach so much of our identity or too much of our identity to one thing or other, getting out of balance like that means that if that's taken away, we lose that sense of identity, and it can really spiral and lead to some serious depression. And I've been through that a couple of times, times where, I was always an athlete. I ran in track and cross country in college. I was an All-American and did all these things. And as soon as that was gone, that had been my identity for a long time. Like I didn't have anything to fill that vacuum, that void. And it was problematic. And then as a dentist, I did that, and that was my identity. I was Smiles by Arnold. And then after I sold that, I'll tell you what, Christina, for the first 3 or 4 weeks after I sold, I was continuing to practice, and nothing changed to the patients or anything. All the change was in my head. It's like, oh my God, I'm not the owner anymore. That was my identity. And I got really depressed. And then, there's just those things I think too often come from being out of balance and having too much of our identity tied to one thing or another, which is why you being so well-rounded with all of your various hobbies, I think is a super healthy thing.
I think it is, but that is something you have to balance as well. But it just came up now when you were saying these things. It just came up, the other day what I posted on another podcast when he said that the woman had called me boss bitch. This looks like I have that I have control over everything. I just realized that what you said here. It's about, like I told him, I think it's about being authentic. I feel that I have come to, I shouldn't say age, I don't know what to say, like a level in my life where I feel I'm true to myself. I try to be transparent as much as I can. But also what you said, I have lost things. I lost my identity, what I thought was my identity. And then I found myself. And today I really try, even if you remove my car, remove my house, remove the material things, I'm still me. And I think that makes me maybe a boss bitch. When you're still, it's not about the things. It's not about the things around you. I am Christina, and I'm happy for being me. I try to be the best version of myself every day. And with those habits, like you said, I can be there. And that's for me personally, I'm transparent there. That's my biggest challenge. I work a lot. Yeah, I get a lot of dopamine and excitement from working. What can I do? So that is my challenge every day. I really have to. Now I have to go out and go to the gym because I know it's good, but I could be working the whole time. And now my children are older, so
me too.
Yeah.
So you have, and how old are they?
My children, I have 3, and they are. Olivia is going to be 17. Pablo is going to be, I have to think a little bit how old I am. And he's going to be 27 and Valentina 28. Okay. And yours?
My daughters are 24 and 22, and my sons are 20 and 18. So right now they're all 2 years apart.
Yeah, they're a little bit
Yeah. In a couple more months, when my daughter turns 23, it all goes haywire. But, I think what you said just a minute ago is so true. It's like we've got to find our way, and we can only do that if we are transparent and honest with ourselves first. I think that sometimes we can delude ourselves into certain, thought processes or beliefs. But when we're honest with ourselves, it becomes a lot easier to be authentic with others. And I gravitate towards people who I sense as authentic. And not everybody is, let's be honest. I mean, a lot of people put on different personas. And I find people who are able to admit some of their challenges and failures along with their successes and, great things, they have more credibility in my eyes, and I give what they say a lot more credence. And so, I've taken that upon myself. And it's like, look, if I can't be the real me and share some of those issues and challenges that I've had, then I'm not really in a position to help anybody else, you know? So
you're totally right. And one thing that happened, it's just a few months ago. I think our children teach us a lot as well.
They
so
do.
A few months, they do, even if we want or not. That happens.
Right.
But so a time ago, I put like a natural filter on Instagram, like not a obvious filter, but just like to remove some wrinkles,
nothing wrong
some
with that.
tiredness. Yeah.
Sure.
And my daughter, my oldest, she said, Mom, I don't follow people who put filter. If I see that they have a filter, I unfollow them. I really appreciate my children's.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I was like,
respect that. Wow.
Yeah, me too. And I was like, you're right. You're right. How can I sit and speak about authenticity when I put the filter on?
Yeah. Yeah,
if I cannot accept my age or my, and that small thing, from that day, I have not used any filter.
Good for you. That's amazing.
And it's not about the filter only. That helped me even become more Christina, become more myself, more authentic, more transparent. Just that small thing. So, we learn every day.
Here at my house, I think my kids would like me to be less authentic, less transparent. Like, oh my God, Dad, my friends follow you. This is so embarrassing. Like, why are you doing all these videos and things? It's, I know. There's a balance in there somewhere, I guess. But.
Yeah, I know. Gosh, poor our children. Yeah, when we are so active on social media.
Well, it's the worst thing for me, I think, Christina, when I got onto Facebook in 2007, so 18 years, I posted about my family like daily, and people would meet my kids somewhere and say, oh, I feel like I've watched you grow up. And my kids are like, what? And I'm like, don't say that. Oh my gosh. Now, I mean, honestly, Christina, it's to the point where my kids don't even want me to take pictures of them because they think I'm going to put everything online. And so, it's interesting. As parents, we learn all these lessons and we try to give our best to our kids and be there and do all those things. And we're still going to screw up somehow. And
every day.
It makes us better now as we're young adults.
But that's the, I don't know if it's an age thing, but I'm not really reflecting over the screw ups, I'm not taking things seriously anymore. I'm not taking myself so seriously.
Good.
Life is short. Life is something we should just enjoy, and
it's a good reminder. It's a really good reminder because at 55 I still take everything probably way too seriously, and thank you for saying that, because it's that perfectionist mentality comes in. I think it permeates everything that we do, and it's not a healthy way to look at anything. And I think as far as dentistry goes, I was able to get to a point finally where it wasn't the pursuit of perfection, it was the pursuit of excellence, because excellence is good enough. And I do need to apply that same principle to all other areas of my life. It's one of those things, do as I say, not as I do sometimes.
Yeah. What triggers you?
What triggers me? Oh boy.
That was a question you didn't expect.
Ignorance triggers me. I mean the kind of ignorance that means that you're not accepting of other people. I think I see too much of that. I accept everybody for who they are, and can embrace all kinds of different people. It's one of the reasons why I like to travel so much. I love to be exposed to different cultures, different people. And what I've found, Christina, is that we all have a lot more in common than we have different. And I think that there are too many closed-minded people who think that their way is the only way, or that, or they're very ethnocentric and think that no other way is as like credible as their way. That triggers me. I have a hard time with that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's so far away from my thinking. Like I cannot even understand how.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry. One more thing that triggers me is when people drive slowly in the fast lane. That really makes me crazy. I have a few others. You know what? It's so funny you asked that
I have a few others.
No one has ever asked me that question, but in my mind for the last decade, I want to have an anonymous Twitter account so I can just rage about all the things that trigger me. I haven't done it, but
do you know what they say? When things are triggering you, there are things that you have to work on. So I don't know about the first thing you said, you don't have to work on that. The other people have to work on it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to driving slow, that trigger maybe is a sign that you should slow down.
It absolutely is. And Christina, I am a firm believer that the bigger hurry I'm in, the more obstacles the universe puts in my path. You know, whether it's God, the universe, energy, whatever you believe, I know it to be true because every single time, the more I want to speed up, the more the universe makes me slow down. And that what you just said is just sort of a perfect illustration of that. You're right.
I totally agree with that. So this podcast, this is will be the last question before you tell us how people can reach you. This podcast is called Stress to Success. What is one tip you could give to the listeners, to the dentists, how to reach success? But first of all, what is success to you? And then how can they reach it?
So success to me is freedom, you know, and I think in the bigger global picture, it's freedom to do what you want when you want. But I think there are other kinds of freedom too, you know, freedom to think the way you want, freedom to just be, you know, without heaping too much criticism on yourself, you know, because we sometimes tend to be hard on ourselves, harder than other people are on us. So freedom from that sort of thinking, I think, is important. And to me, that's success. Now, in terms of how to get success or how to be there, like I'll name two, actually, maybe the first two that come to mind. One, in terms of professional success, find mentors, find people doing the things that you want to do. The people who do it well, who you find to be credible, who you feel like you could learn something from. That's the best way to fast track your way to success, I think, professionally, whether it's as a clinician, whether it's as a leader, communicator, business person. So I think mentorship is important and always have them. I'm 55. I still have mentors. You know, I went from having 17 mentors, you know, when I was 30 to, you know, maybe a half a dozen now. But then the other thing is to always make time for personal growth. You know, whatever that looks like for you. You know, we all have different things that we want to learn and grow about. But if you don't make that time for personal growth, you know, I think that you start dying as soon as you stop growing. So those are my two tips for success.
And how does that look like, working on your personal growth? Is it reading, or what could that look like?
I think it's a variety of things. I mean, I think it's having a routine. And for me, it's a morning routine. I mean, it could be an afternoon routine. It could be a bedtime routine. I think that we're all different. You know, we all have different ways of accomplishing the things we want to accomplish. But I think that reading and meditation and journaling are three great ways to do it. Physical exercise, just movement, whatever it is. It could be a walk. It could be a run. It could be strength training. It could be a lot of things. I think that is something that frees you up and de-stresses for sure. And I think that a lot of times that personal growth comes through interaction with others, you know, finding a great coach, you know, finding somebody who has been there and kind of knows what you're going through. Or if you haven't gone through that exactly, you've talked with other professionals who have gone through that. And so you're able to share your perspective. And so I think that what you're doing is a beautiful thing. I think that what I'm doing with Jeff Buski and some of my other speakers with the luxury dental retreats is a beautiful thing. But find those mentors, find that avenue for personal growth, whatever that looks like for you. It may be personal, with a book or with a meditation, or it may be finding community and finding others with whom you can relate, interact, problem solve, and just feel seen and heard.
Love that. Are your retreats only for men?
No. They are for men and women. I will say the one in Puerto Vallarta with Jeff was just men because Jeff coaches male dentists. That having been said, in Dubai, we have 3 speakers, and Steve Rasner is going to talk about, he's a surgical master. He's also a business and leadership master. He's grown a very, very profitable practice in one of the worst parts of New Jersey. And then Jeff Buski, he's going to talk to the male and female dentists just about that life balance. We all have body, mind, and spirit. We all have relationships, and we all, at this retreat probably have businesses. And if not our own businesses, we have other things that we're doing, as entrepreneurs, investors, whatever. So Jeff's going to really cover all of that. And then Elijah Desmond is going to get into increasing the value of your practice, growing EBITDA, and planning for your eventual transition so you get the most value for your practice, and not only in money, but in terms of finding the right partner. So, that retreat will cover all of those different bases. But again, men and women will benefit.
Wonderful.
I'll benefit.
So how do they? Yeah. So how can they find you?
Anybody's welcome to text me at 219-241-4698, and we can set up a call. Or they can email me at drarnold, like Dr. Arnold, at smilesbyarnold.com. And I'm pretty responsive most of the time.
Great. We will put that. So meanwhile you're saying this, it will come up.
All right. That's awesome. I appreciate it.
Wow.
And if they want to know about the luxury dental retreat coming up, it's luxurydentalretreats.com/Dubai. And it gives a full rundown on exactly what we'll be doing, what to expect, and the Ritz-Carlton luxury white glove service and all that good stuff. So
wonderful,
fun stuff. This is the part of my career where I can really enjoy, kind of giving back and creating value for others based on my experience and relationships. So I'm really excited about this. It's a passion project.
You're doing a great job, and I have to mention as well your newsletters on LinkedIn.
Thank you.
Because those are incredible.
I appreciate that. Today, so I've done 17 newsletters, and I think a couple of bonuses in there too, but today blog number 17 came out. And so what I do, I release a newsletter on an important topic every Tuesday, but so everybody can kind of get into it and maybe start to think about it, incorporate it, talk to their teams about it. But then on Friday, I go deeper. The blog is significantly longer and more detailed, and I think gives more frameworks and like really practical tips that they can start to use like that day or that next Monday. So it's kind of a theme each week that I try to focus on, and I usually post a few times about whatever that theme is, just so whoever's following me, I hope that it does get them into that mindset. And if they see one or two of these things, it helps them sort of do a reset and be
I'm sure you're helping a lot of people that you don't even know of,
Well, I hope so. We all worry about engagement. We all look and say, gosh, nobody's liking this or nobody's commenting. And, but I think ultimately you're right. I think most people who you have some sort of impact on, you may never have a conversation with. And I do get a lot of direct messages. I do get a lot of texts from people I know who have never interacted with me online at all. And so I think that's important. A friend of mine just reminded me of that this morning, that it's not so much about engagement. It's about the people who, you may never hear from, who may get something out of what you share, hopefully.
Yeah. And these newsletters, you could you can make online education. you can turn that into online education and get a passive income.
You're right. There's no doubt about it. I mean, at this point, I'm giving it all away because I want to create value and to be honest, I want to create some engagement with the ecosystem that I'm building, with my faculty. We have their 10 faculty members plus me, and I'm going to expand to 20 or 30 because there are about 50 people who want to be a part of this. And I've got an advisory board, and I've got trusted partners and a variety of other things. And so everything that I do out there from a content standpoint, I wanted to create the kind of value that makes people want to come in and, perhaps take part in something else we're doing. I'm building a group of dental practices now. I sold my practices 10 years ago, and I miss that. I miss being a leader. I miss having teams that, want to follow a vision. I miss partnering with doctors. And so, that's part of my ecosystem as well. So if my website was up and live, I would share it right now, but we're probably we still have some work to do because I'm trying to make it perfect. I should
good things takes time.
Right. Absolutely.
Wow. Thank you so much. Finally, we meet. We have followed each other for a time.
I know.
It feels like I almost know you.
Same here. I'm thrilled to have met you too, Christina. It's a great conversation. Keep doing all the beautiful things you're doing.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for including me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And good luck at the retreat. And let's catch up afterwards and you tell me all about it.
Can't wait. Thanks so much, Christina. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a lovely day. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to From Stress to Success. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe, share it with a colleague, or leave a comment so more dental professionals can build fulfilling lives with harmony and purpose. A big thank you again to our sponsor, Smiler, for making this podcast possible. Until next time, take care and keep rising.